up guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Arrowverse because we've got a really interesting few topics that we need to talk about. One to do with Mark Guggenheim, who has commented on the CW and what their original plans were. And then also we have a look at what John Diggle would have looked like as Green Lantern. It's been revealed by Mark Guggenheim as well. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay, so this is very exciting actually, and yes, it's come years after the end of Arrow, and obviously they were teasing this for a long time, but as we all know, John Diggle was highly likely to be a Green Lantern. At one point, we saw many teasers throughout all the Arrowverse shows, but especially Arrow, that David Ramsey would be showing up as a version of Green Lantern, as John Diggle, but Green Lantern. And so it's been confirmed since then that the bosses of the CW, of Arrow, considered combining the characters, but it just never ended up happening, despite Diggle finding that mysterious green glowing box at the end of Arrow, and it never said if it was Green Lantern, but it was pretty much inferred that it was a lantern ring. And so this is where we get to the exciting bit, because we got a first look, or a look at the concept art that was originally made for Arrow Season 8, the final season of Arrow, and we got two versions of a costume, and this costume is on the screen right here, and this is John Diggle as Green Lantern. So this is concept art, this is not anything that they actually made, so they didn't make the costumes because it didn't get approved. So this is what Mark Guggenheim had to say about John Diggle as Green Lantern. Unfortunately, we never got the approval to go full Green Lantern with Diggle, but we were always trying to push the envelope as much as possible. For example, check out the proposed Season 8 costume for Dig that we weren't able to slip past the powers at B. So there you have it, that is the costume. Let's talk about the costumes, let's break them down a little bit. So it's a very similar suit to Diggle's normal suit, right? I think it's based on his normal suit, and they've just adapted it to be a Green Lantern suit for him. So there is a little bit of green, and on one of the pieces of concept art on the left of the screen, it is more green than the other side, because, you know, they're just two different concept arts, and it's literally the same design, so just copy and pasted, but they've just colored in different bits, and they've put the actual lantern, and it's really big on his chest. I kind of like it, although normally the Green Lantern logo is smaller and normally it would be glowing. Obviously this is just concept art, but based on what Arrow is and how it was always a very minimal show, it was grounded, it's gritty, they don't have extravagant costumes really. So this kind of makes sense for Arrow. If you're going to do a Green Lantern that is more grounded, I guess you would do it something like this, where it's more of a normal costume, but it has the lantern logo, and you would presume he would have the lantern ring. Just in this concept art, it's focusing on the costume rather than focusing on like making it look perfect or anything like that. So it's really exciting to get a look into this Green Lantern that we could have got. Now, obviously Mark Guggenheim is teasing it, and he's been doing this recently, looking back at like Crisis, looking back at different stuff throughout the Arrowverse, and it seems like this concept was actually shot down by the higher up, so by, you know, not Mark Pedowitz, not like the head of the CW, but probably higher up than him, so whoever controls, you know, given the rights to the CW for certain characters. Maybe at the time they were thinking, DCEU, we could introduce lanterns. I know they were developing the Lantern show back then with Greg Berlanti, but I don't think Greg would have been the one preventing this. And I think the showrunners seemingly wanted to actually go ahead and do this just based on what Mark Guggenheim is actually saying. And so what do you guys think of this? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it's a really cool costume? I don't know which one is my favorite. Maybe the one slightly with less green, because it's a bit more minimal, and I think if the one on the left was to be used, like I would like it with even more green, like take away some of that kind of silvery black kind of leathery suit, I guess, and make it green, make it like fully green. Don't just do the shoulders and around the lantern logo, but you know, you either go full out or you go extremely minimal. And I think with the green shoulder pads on the other one and just the outline of the Lantern's logo, I think that works. I think that works for Arrow specifically. And obviously he wouldn't be using a gun if he was a Green Lantern. So as I said, I believe this is just, you know, like a photo that it's based off, and they just copied and pasted it, and they're just focusing on the costume. So this is all from Mark Guggenheim's newsletter called The Legal Dispatch, and the fan art that he shared was from the illustrator Keith Lau, and I think he's actually done other concept arts in the past. And it was actually emphasized that this is a Green Lantern inspired jacket rather than like an actual full costume, so it would be something that he would transition to, like he would have this first and then he would move on to like a proper Green Lantern costume. But I don't think even Mark Guggenheim thought, you know, there would be like enough time in Arrow or enough time in the other shows to fully make him like a full-fledged Green Lantern. So this would be like a good in-between stage, and then you can imagine as fans what it would be like to see him as full Green Lantern in space and everything without his gun, and have him just, you know, wielding the lantern ring. And so yeah, it's definitely more of a subtle design, and I like it. And I like that he's been totally honest about all of this and, you know, releasing this stuff. So I really like it. But let's move on to the next topic. This is staying on topic because it's Mark Guggenheim again. And he did an interview with my good friend Andy. Link will be in the description below to the interview. It's a YouTube interview, so it's a podcast. You guys can listen to it. It's about an hour long, and it's for Andy's podcast called The Showrunner Whisperer, where he talks to different showrunners from the Arrowverse shows, from other DC shows. He's done one recently with a Swamp Thing showrunner, so there is lots of stuff coming, so stay tuned, subscribe to Andy's channel, and yeah, look out for more. But Mark Guggenheim actually sat down and talked to Andy, and he gave him some interesting information. So the main quote that's been making the rounds online that I wanted to talk about was the fact that Guggenheim actually said in the interview that he was warned there would be no more CW if Arrow didn't work. So if Arrow didn't work, they'd already told them, okay, the CW would be in trouble, as it was essentially the show that was taken over from Smallville. It was taking that DC slot on the CW, or as it used to be called, the WB, that Smallville used to occupy, and obviously it did pretty well for the network, so Arrow had to be a success. And I think the quote that he actually gave, and I'm going to read it out here because it's written down, is actually very intriguing because it shows the pressure that they were under when creating Arrow. So WBTV chairman Peter Ruff basically laid it out for us in incredible detail. The reality that if Arrow wasn't a hit, there would be no more CW. Now we also have the pressure of keeping the whole network on the air. So that was the pressure at the time, the fact that Warner Brothers TV were basically riding on Arrow being a success. And obviously Arrow did turn out to be a success, and they found a great success overall with the Arrowverse, which obviously Arrow was the original show, then it was The Flash, then, you know, Supergirl came, Legends of Tomorrow came, and it just continued to expand. They did very well with the deal with Netflix that made the CW some money. Obviously WBTV are coming at it from a different angle. They're the ones putting the money in. They're the ones creating the show. That's where the production would be, and it would be like under the guise of WBTV, if you guys know what I'm saying. I can't really get my words out today, but it's really impressive that they were able to orchestrate Arrow to be so good that really it saved the CW, it saved the network. The network would have gone down already at that time, and it helped it last for many, many years. Now we all know that the CW is in big trouble right now, and that's down to Nexstar and the changes. There's no fans that watch the network anymore because they cancelled so many DC shows, so many of the other popular shows on the CW that obviously the CW was known for, and then also shows like Superman and Lois are coming to an end, and The Flash ended. There is nothing more for the Arrowverse, so it was a great success for a long time, but there would have been no CW before if Arrow wasn't successful. So big up to Arrow for actually doing good, and the people behind the scenes that were working on it, because the CW might have actually went under if Arrow wasn't a success. So let me know, what do you think about that down in the comments below. That is a great quote that Andy got from Mark Guggenheim, and there's a whole lot more in Andy's interview. Go watch it, break it down. Obviously tweet at me if there is anything that you find very interesting from the interview. If there is any quotes that you want me to talk about, and let me know down in the comments below, or tweet at me at the DCTV Show or on Instagram at the DCTV Show, and I'll be sure to have a look at what you send. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.